Hello there, my name is Peter and I live on this old wooden motor cruiser in Victoria, British Columbia, all the while restoring it while I live aboard. It's a bit of a project. If that's the sort of thing you might be interested in, please consider sticking around and subscribing. This week we're kind of all over the place. I started the week off visiting some friends in Vancouver. So we start off over there and I got to stay aboard my friend's Monk. He's got a 30-foot Monk Loueda. And we did a little bit of splining in the cabin sides. You're going to see that. And then a little later on, we get to doing this really lovely bulwark work. Bulwark, coping, I don't know what to call this. This curved piece of trim. Anyway, you'll get to see how we did all of that. Cheers! Okay, I'm in Kitsilano with my good buddy Owen here, who is also a Monk owner. We're going to go see it. You're going to love this boat, Loueda. That is 4 feet of Honduran mahogany. Yes, it is, right?
Sure is.
Yeah, exactly. Which we just bought at Winter Plywood in Kitsilano, Vancouver, to fix some stuff on his boat. But I'm going to be back because I have a whack of it. Yeah, it's 20 bucks a board foot, but it's available, and that's the amazing thing. Let's go check out Loueda. Anyway, listen, this is Loueda. Owen, what can you tell us about her?
Well, she's about 70 years old. She was made here. Everything on it's cast bronze if it's not wood. And she lives in a shed. Red cedar, mahogany topside. She's 30 feet long-ish. Diesel engine. All original. In very good condition, I guess. We use her all the time.
Just lovely. And you've had her down into Seattle, I believe?
Yeah, we've been in Puget Sound and not that far north, Pender Harbor, places like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And big plans?
Oh yeah, loads of big plans.
Yeah, that's good. Well, this is where we commit. We put the router against the cabin side and hope everything goes smoothly. As you can see what we've done here, here's our fending gap. We've temporarily tacked a straight edge on here to ride this on. And if everything goes smoothly, I'm going to cut a 3/8 inch wide, 1/4 inch deep slot. Let's just get started. Let's make some sawdust, shall we? Alright, let's see how it fits. Okay, I want to put just a little chamfer on it. So this is our final test fit. And it fits nice. Get ready to be pounded in. Let's get some glue on that. Now, of course, you don't need any glue in the back. The glue is hopefully on the sides, but it's just going to be squeezed from the edge. Gosh, Owen, this is a lovely place at this time of day.
Well, thank you very much.
Birds tweeting.
I try my best.
Yeah. Now, in a minute, there's going to be glue everywhere, but that's the nature of this. Nice thing about it is it acts a bit like a lubricant, so it makes that last tap in a little bit easier. Oh, yes. Can you hear the sound change? When it gets really a hard ring like that, you know we bottomed out. I know there are some that would rather see epoxy here, but this is such a tight fit and it should be slathered in varnish for the rest of its life that I think waterproof glue is just the ticket. There we go. Okay, that was a heck of a lot of fun. We didn't get a lot of it done. In the meantime, we're off to the pub. Where's the best spot, man?
Anywhere.
Okay, so this is funny. Where are we, Owen? We're in the
Flying Beaver.
We're in the Flying Beaver, which is equivalent to the Flying Otter in Victoria. We have it's owned by the Little Harbour Air float plane. You don't need to know all that information. But anyway, what I think is funny is I am drinking Sleeman's Honey Brown because it's the special on tap tonight. So
I'm not.
I already know. What are you drinking there, Owen?
I don't know, but it's not Honey Brown.
It's not Honey Brown. Well, cheers to getting a little boat work done. Just a little more drinking. Cheers. Well, hey, good morning. I've been very privileged to be able to stay aboard my friend Owen's boat, Loueda, the last couple of nights. And it's been a fantastic way to hang out in Vancouver. Really a privilege to stay aboard. Very, very cozy boat. Loueda is just gorgeous. A Monk tri-cabin, very much like MV Zephyrus and MV Geordie. However, she's only 30 feet long, which makes it pretty impressive that she can pack all that space into this tiny little boat. Anyway, let's have a quick little tour. Let's go inside. The wheelhouse is really cozy and spacious. It reminds me a lot of an English boat. I don't really know why. It's just the scale and the size of it. Again, I'll let you have a look around. Helm to port, lots of beautiful mahogany, open ceiling, which is overhead, which is really nice because it gives me headroom. Lovely big bench here for people to sit up high and see the view. Double berth forecastle forward. One neat thing about it is that it seems very spacious because it's only half a step down compared to the 3 steps down in Geordie and Zephyrus. Aft is just amazing. I don't know if there's enough light down here for you to see this. Oh, there are lights aboard. Cute, cute, cute little galley. I mean, just adorable. Let me back up enough that you can actually see what's going on. That old hand pump. How about these fitted cabinets? All fitted crockery. Just too nice. I hope you're getting that. Again, just really nicely done. Look at the deep camber of the deck beams. Just gorgeous. Okay then, so we're going to sand off these splines this morning, and I just put you in a drip. Sorry about that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some tape on the brightwork so that as we sand the splines back down, we don't do too much damage to the brightwork because we don't really want to have to revarnish all of that right off the bat. So alright then, we get this all masked off, the couple layers thick, and what'll happen is you sand, yes, it'll start to scratch up some of the tape, but at least we can see what's happening before we get through to the varnish. Alright? Let's see what this looks like. Of course, it has chewed up the tape a bit, which makes it a little more difficult to remove, but we'll manage. Here against the window, I didn't want to sand too close because I don't want to scratch his chrome, so I'm just going to take the chisel and just clean up the end of that. Cool. Okay, and a spot of varnish, and this is looking pretty good. Let's see what this looks like. The new mahogany, of course, is lovely and red. Oh, look at that. It's as if we designed it to be that way. Isn't that nice? Okay, so here we are, time to start to make this brow piece. I think I've mentioned it a few times and it's time to get to it. So this is ever so slightly curved, only just enough to create drainage off the deck here. So what I do, I measure basically from what I call the spring point or spring line where the curve changes. So basically from here to over here is 7 feet, and then I measure the difference between height from there to the center of it, which in this case is 1.25 inches. So I have 1.25 inch crown in a 7-foot curve. So I throw those numbers at my computer and draw a little drawing, and it tells me the radius. And I'll show you how we do that. But we have more curves to cut. Let's go. The other curve I need to cut is almost the same piece for the front of the wheelhouse here. So it curves across the console, which is the foredeck, and over 8 feet it comes up 2 inches in the middle. So I can calculate that radius as well. Now there's a couple of differences about it. I don't need a solid piece of wood because of course I have the companionway here as I do in the cockpit. So the longest piece I need is from there to there, giving me roughly 4 feet. Now on the other side I'll have another 4-foot section, 2 feet of which I'll use here and 2 feet of which I'll use here, because this combing is going to continue all the way around the companionway opening. Of course these pieces will be straight, so I'm not too worried about that. So as long as I give myself a little bit of extra slack, same sort of situation in the cockpit. I've done some quick calculations on the paper here. So this is the one in the cockpit, 7 feet. With a rise of 1.25 inches, gives me a radius of 58 feet 10 inches. Here in the wheelhouse, 8 feet with a rise of 2 inches gives me a radius of 48 feet 1 inch. Good enough. Okay, let's get the big tape measure going. The largest radius is 58 feet, almost 60 feet. So what I've come down here to the dock and I have attached a screw to this post. The reason I've done it high up in the air like that is because if I put a screw right in the dock, as I swing in the arc, the tape is bound to catch on one of the nasty nail lumpy bumpies in this dock, and I won't get a true radius. Whereas if it's in the air, the 2.5 feet that it is on that post, it'll make an insignificant difference in the arc I make. So the trick here, it being such a long way to the pivot, I have to keep steady tension on it as I move back and forth. So what I do now is I basically just take my pencil anywhere here, because anywhere in this region I know I'm damn close. So the trick is to keep the same tension on as I draw the arc. Good. So that's the outside arc of my 58/8. So now we got to move up 10 feet. Same deal. Keep the same tension on. Draw the same arc. Okay, excellent. Okay, now there's a few options for cutting these. It's a curve, so the first thing you might jump to is a jigsaw. Well, a jigsaw on a long cut like this is going to have lots of tiny little irregularities, so I'm definitely going to have to be cleaning up the edge anyway. So I'm just as happy to cut this with a circular saw. Believe it or not, if I set the kerf low enough, way down to just big enough to get through the wood, I can actually cut that curve with a circular saw more accurately than I can with a jigsaw. So let's get this cut. And there we go. 3.5. Alright. Use this piece right on there. My knee on it there. Put here. Making pretty solid mark, because I got to tell you, pencil on mahogany does not make a very robust mark. Very good. There we go. Because I cut two pieces for the interior, I want to make sure they're both identical, and to make sure I average out any errors, I flip them end for end, clamp them together, and I'm planing them together so that they basically have the same curve. And then what I'll do, I'll take them back and put them the other way again and make sure that they're the same curve. That way I make sure I average it out, that the curve is basically exactly the same on both pieces and exactly correct. Okay, so that's perfect. Now I'm going to flip one end to end and see how perfect they are. Okay, so that's flipped end for end again, and I think we're getting pretty darn close. Okay, time to do a trial fit. What I have to do is cut out the top 1.5 inches or so of this. So I'm just going to use, remember this thing? A little marker, so it's about 1.5 inches, so I'm just going to use this to make a mark on here that I can cut that off roughly there. And I'll set the circular saw for the depth of the wood, zing that off. Right off. Excellent. Well then everyone, good morning. I have found my 3/8 roundover. I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but I'm sure it'll be just fine. So I didn't have to go to the store, didn't have to buy any new stuff. We'll get carrying on with this. I'm going to call it a combing. I'm going to call it a, I don't know what it is really, this piece of wood that we've been working on the last couple of days. Okay, so the first step is to cut up more beautiful mahogany, and that's to create the two side pieces on the companionway. Let's go. So I have all my pieces ready, and the first thing I need to do is route out a rabbet for this piece of paneling. Whether I use this paneling or another piece in the future, I want to be able to tuck it up in there and make that a little bit tidy. So got to take a little trough out of the back. For that I have installed a straight cutting 3/4 bit in the router table. Now I have to go in this direction here. I have to be very careful. With a router you got to remember you're always cutting into the cutter in the opposite direction of traveling the opposite direction of the cutter. So when you're working on the back side of the bit, make sure you come in this direction, otherwise it's going to mill this and oh. For the first time, I can actually sit that against there and see what it'll look like. So far, so good. I love it. Okay, now we got to route the bull nose in the top, which is a 3/8 round over on one corner and a 3/8 round over in the other corner. Let me set up the router table. So I'm going to start with the straight pieces because they're the most expendable. Mind you, maybe as the bit dulls I should be using the... Anyway, whatever. Let's just get going here. Glasses. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll say that's very, very, very nice. So here we go. So this is the first actual curved piece. Again, like I did when I was routing out the rabbit, I'll just try to average the curve so that I have the same gap on both sides so that I know the tangent of the curve is on the bit. Let's go. That is very, very nice. A little bit of sanding and that'll be just about perfect. And the big one. Ugh. No stress, no stress. Very, very nice. Beauty! Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so the first piece I'm going to put on is going to be up front here, and pretty straightforward. It basically just gets cut in here with two bevels on the ends. Anyway, okay, so the point is this rotates on the curve, so I've got to make sure I'm tight on just at this point, and then clamp it down. I've got my miter set. Hopefully that is a perfect miter. It certainly looks very good so far. Okay, so there we go. Fits nicely in there. Now what I've done, I made myself a little adjustment. I mean, not a little adjustment, a little jig that steps this up 1/2 inch. So basically I just sit that there and sit that there, and I know I'm nice and flush. So let's throw some pins in here. Sorry about that. Now let's miter our straight pieces. Let's see. That fits very, very nicely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've cut this bevel slightly long because it's an outside, and I can always trim it up a little more after. So we'll leave that there. It's ready. Time to make this one. Okay, that feels fantastic. Fantastic. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, time to tack this up with some glue. Alright, so this is it. The commitment. It's a bit much, Peter. Okay, goes here, come around the corner, get this one geared up. Oh, that's pretty nice. That is pretty darn nice. Put a pin there, but there. Oh, loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. Let's see if I can do as well on the other side. Okay, so that's that bevel cut. Keep that one handy, and now for the long one. Let's see. It. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Okay, let's get some glue on this. Okie dokie, what beautiful light we have this time of day. Just gorgeous. Again, this is mid-January in Victoria, BC. I know I should shut up about that, right? But holy mackerel, this is nice. Okay. Okay, we'll start down here with this piece. Before this glue dries, the magic happens here. Okay, loving it. Well, I've got to say, I am unbelievably pleased with the way that went. Maybe you could tell that I was kind of dreading doing it because it's a bit of a complex thing to do. I've been thinking about it for years, really I have. Look at the beautiful light, look at the time of day. You know what that means? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's beer time. And yes, folks, this week's Beer of the Week is Seaport Vanilla Stout from Lighthouse Brewery, also local Victoria, not very far from here. Now, I'm a bit of a stout snob. Basically, I've been drinking Guinness for a long, long time. I cut my teeth on Guinness in the Old Dublin pub in Montreal. Any other Old Dubliners out there? Anyway, and that's my actual main go-to beer. So any other stout already starts about halfway down. However, this was a gift from a friend here at the marina. Vanilla stout, never tried it. It doesn't say chocolate, it doesn't say coffee, although actually it claims to have tones of coffee and chocolate in it. Let's cut to the chase and open it up. And opening it, I'm opening it with this really neat, custom made for me, it says Captain Pete on it, little wrench that was modified into a bottle opener from a good friend of mine here in Victoria, Mike. And so I'll be using that regularly. Okay, so let's pour a little of this beautiful black goodness into this glass here. I just finished working, so my arms are still full of whatever they're full of that's making them tremble. Anyway, and let's see if we can pour a little bit ahead at the end. And right off the bat, I'm kind of going, well, what makes a stout? I don't know. To me, a stout is carbonated with nitrogen, and that looks pretty good. Oh, you know, that's looking fairly promising. But, yeah, not too bad. So let's see what we think of Lighthouse's Vanilla Stout. It's good. It's another flavored stout, which I would almost call a porter, but yeah, chocolate, coffee, vanilla. I don't think it's my go-to, but it's quite yummy, and I'll certainly enjoy finishing drinking it. So there you go, Beer of the Week. Now, you may have got a clue from this, from the intro, that this was the Beer of the Week, because, well, I haven't shot it yet, but the intro's coming. Yeah, you know what I mean. Cheers! See you next week!